Hello and welcome back, YouTube. It is a pretty rainy Saturday night, 9:58 p.m. Yeah, I was wanting to get over to the Wander Inn closer to 9 o'clock. Yeah, I'm gonna end up getting there at about 10, but whatever. I slept a lot. Holy crap! Like I damn near slept the entire day away. By the way, I guess I should let you know it not only is it Saturday, but it's hang on, trying to find the button where my Obama phone tells me the date. It's Saturday, October 15th, 2022. Oh shit, I'm at the halfway mark of the month. And usually at the halfway mark of the month, I like to kind of look over my finances and see where I'm doing towards the end of the month. I haven't really done that, but I can tell you I'm doing not so good. Just saying, not so good. I think I'll make it, and I think if I'm a little late with next month's rent, it won't be the end of the world, as I do have an unusually cool landlord. But yeah, last Friday's pay from Amazon, there was some VTO involved. I do believe I was paid in full for the day that I went home super early due to the power outage. At least that's what I was told, but I still don't know how to access my pay stubs and really figure that thing out. But I don't know. The pay wasn't much smaller, but it was like smaller enough that I was kind of disappointed with it. And then I spent way more money on booze than I normally spend drinking at Wander Inn. And you know, it's not all the money I spent on double shots of Parrot Bay for myself that has me frustrated. It's what I spent to buy Priscilla a non-alcoholic beverage. Apparently her drink of choice nowadays is a mixture of soda water and cranberry juice in a pitcher. So yeah, that money could have been better spent getting somebody else drunk who would want to like go home and get nasty with me. I paid for two of those, like $5 a piece, so like $10 spent on drinks for her to bring me back to her place and not want me to touch her. In fact, it was as bad as like when I got to her place and wanted to get more comfortable and took my clothes off. She came in from the kitchen. She did finally finish the fajitas that were supposed to be for dinner. And, you know, this is one of the issues that my mother has with this woman. Like every time she was going to help cook, like for a family thing, by the time dinner was served, it was like, yeah, we're white people. We don't live on CPT. Like dinner, if it's supposed to happen at 7, it's supposed to happen at 7, not 10 o'clock at night. By 10 o'clock at night, the old folks are ready for bed, and the kids should have been in bed by now too. The fajitas weren't even done when we got home from the bar. I mean, I don't think she got that shit done till like after 3 in the morning. And you know, I'm just sitting in her living room, which is not so comfortable because it is insanely cluttered, in some ways worse than mine, and with nothing but like, she bought a fancy new TV. You know, God knows she didn't have money to, you know, help me with stuff she should have paid for at my place, but she had money to, you know, buy a 65-inch HD TV, a 4K TV. I mean, she was telling me what a great deal she got on it, so, you know, probably got it for less than $500, you know, which is fine. I mean, my TV was a couple grand, but I bought mine like 6 years ago when TV's more expensive. Regardless, like, you had the money to buy that TV, but you didn't have money to handle expenses that were incurred at my place. Not cool. But yeah, I got, you know, I'm sitting there and bored out of my mind. Thank God, you know, at least, and I don't know if it's coming from her or one of her neighbors, but at least I had a strong Cox hotspot, so I had internet on my phone. So I'm just like dinking around on my phones while some kind of boring ass talk show is on her TV, but yeah, I thought I'd get naked at least, you know, to get comfortable. Because, you know, when I'm at home or in something that's supposed to be like comfortable as home, I prefer to be naked. Just saying. Unless I'm in mixed company around children, I prefer to be naked. And she came back in and was like all upset about it. I'm like, really? Like, we've been intimate for over 11 years, and you're bothered that while you and I are alone together, I'm naked? Like, I'm kind of bothered that you're not naked. Anyway, I did end up staying there longer than I probably would have. Only because she changed. Well, I mean, the food finally happened, but by then I really wasn't that hungry. Like I had 2 small little fajitas, and it's like, whatever. She did change the TV over to channel 8, and something came on that engrossed me. Otherwise, I would have left sooner. But there was a local documentary. I can't say it was produced by, but it was narrated by the legendary Pat McMahon. And for those who don't know who Pat McMahon is, I would say he is the most legendary living, probably the most legendary, period, living or non-living, broadcaster in the Phoenix area. He has been a part of Phoenix broadcasting since the early 1960s. I grew up watching him on the Wallace and Ladmo show, but then as I got older and started listening to news radio, I'm like, that one guy in the afternoon sounds like Gerald. And sure as shit, like it was Pat McMahon, who was Gerald and several other characters on the Wallace and Ladmo show, was the afternoon guy when I started listening to KTAR. He's not on KTAR anymore, but he does still do stuff for Channel 8 and also for Channel 7. And anyway, this documentary that was narrated by him was absolutely amazing. It had a lot of good interviews with longtime Phoenix people, longtime residents, and then people who have been influential in the changes in Phoenix over the past 50, 60 years. I should say 60, 70 years. Because this is all about the 60s, and holy crap, it's like we're well into the 2020s now. Yeah, gay 20s 2.0, where gay has a completely different meaning. Anyway, yeah, that was engrossing. But yeah, Priscilla, of course, she's changing clothes, doesn't want me touching her, but wants me to spoon with her on the couch. And I was pretty clear. I'm like, hey, if we're spooning and we're not forking, I'm not happy. Just saying. And I'm like, wait a minute, you feel cool to like snuggle up and rub against me, but if I touch on you, like that's not okay? Well, it's my body, it's my decision. I'm like, well, and once the documentary was over on Channel 8, my decision was to go home. She's like, well, you can just go in the bed and go to sleep, I'll join you in a little bit. I'm just like, yeah, you've already made it really clear that you're not sleeping naked and there's no intimacy happening. So no, if I'm gonna be in bed not having sex, I'd rather be in my own bed with all the amenities of my own home. And I left. I think she was pretty shocked that I did that. But I can't believe how long I slept. Like, I didn't stay up long after I got home. I want to say I got home probably about 4 in the morning. I know I had a couple of times I woke up and was like so tired and went back to bed. But yeah, I didn't actually get up, I want to say, until like 7:45 in the evening. And I was thinking about pulling a shift tonight, like an overtime shift tonight at Amazon, but it's like, yeah, slept in too late to do that. Anyway, between then and now, I've just been working on my music. Priscilla did text me, didn't apologize for, the sexual letdown, which I feel she owes me an apology for, but obviously she doesn't. I mean, maybe we're in different places, whatever. I mean, I'm granted, we're both in our 50s, and her thing is, well, I'm entering menopause and blah, blah, blah. I still very much have the libido that I had in my 20s. Very, very much so. I mean, I could probably hook up with a 20-something or a 30-something, it's in their sexual peak and keep up. And I'm not just saying that to brag. Like, I'm pretty confident that I could do that. And maybe that's what I need, Maybe being with a woman that's my own age, whose libido is apparently expired, is just a wasted effort. And it's and it's not like Priscilla and I don't have more than that. We do, but that's a pretty crucial thing. It's like talking about all the things that are good about a car. Oh, it's great. It has this great paint job and the stereo and blah 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 blah. But you know what? If the transmission is completely shot and it won't go forward, it's still no good as a car. I know, terrible analogy, but that's where I'm at. Anyway, I'm sitting behind the Wander Inn. I'm gonna go in and sing some karaoke. Last night was pretty awesome. It's the first time that I put some songs from my library onto a flash drive to sing from my stuff instead of the limited selection that Kimmy has. And mind you, Kimmy does not have a bad selection. I just like to sing unusual, eclectic stuff. So there's that. Anyway, she really accommodated me on it, and I told her, it's like, you know what, just keep those files. Don't even worry about it if they're commercially reduced files. Just keep them. Nobody will know they came from me. Just do it. I don't know if she will or not, whatever. But anyway, I see her on the patio. I'm gonna go sing some songs. Also, Tim gave me another case of used cassettes of stuff that he found that would otherwise hit the garbage. And he's like, I know you like cassettes. Like, I brought this for you. I'm like, dude, thank you. It seems like almost every time I come here, he's got some kind of random, and it'd be garbage to other people, VCRs, old tape decks, what have you. But some great tapes in there. It's like, I know there was some all over the place too, like everything from like Tex Williams to Tom Petty. And I might actually do a video about some of the stuff that I got from him, although I've already started cataloging them on Discogs and moved some out of the case that he gave me. It's not a Case Logic case, but it, like you can see it in this dark, but it looks like a Case Logic case. The kind with the plastic tray on the inside with 3 rows of tapes and then the padded thing on the outside. Doesn't have the little pocket in front like a Case Logic case would have, but other than that, it's pretty much identical. Anyway, yeah, if you check my Discogs, and I'm sure there's a link in my channel about page to my Discogs, you'll see that I added about 6 cassettes to my Discogs, and that's all stuff that Tim gave me last night. So some pretty good stuff in there. And if you look at the details, like there are 2 that I cataloged that need to have the pads glued. I don't currently have the stuff readily available to take care of the pads, but I figured I'd catalog them anyway, since other than the pads, the tapes seem fine. And pad is a simple repair that I'm 100% confident in my ability to do. Some of them did have some water damaged J cards. I know one that I cataloged, and there's more than the one I cataloged that have damaged J cards, but one that I did catalog was Alice Cooper Trash, and yeah, the J card's kind of screwed. I mean, to look at it through the case, it looks good. The cover art looks good. But if you want to pull it out and unfold it and look at the lyrics, you're shit out of luck because it's wet, it's warped, and it's all stuck together. But whatever. I mean, as I'm, other people's like, well, that's damaged. And I'm like, yeah, I don't collect it as much for resale or value as I do to listen to. And at some point, I'm going to listen to that. I haven't heard Alice Cooper Trash in a long time. And I know I can stream it at any time. I know this. But that just doesn't feel real to me most of the time. Not like putting a cassette in the cassette player and hitting play and playing my own stuff. So anyway, I've wasted 12 minutes on what was a less than 10-minute drive. So I'm going to go inside, be sociable. I don't see Priscilla's vehicle here, so probably she hasn't come. Speaking of Priscilla, that was kind of a thing, because as I mentioned in the last video, like, she didn't have dinner ready, as she said she was. The whole premise of me coming to her place yesterday was that she needed me to help her move this mirror over to Ace Hardware so they could cut it so it would fit on wherever she wants to put it on her wall. It's too big to move herself. Like, I get it. Large pieces of plate glass. Yeah, if you can't lift it and maneuver it yourself, get some help. Like, because that could be potentially dangerous if you drop it or whatever. Not to mention the potential of 7 years of bad luck if you fuck up a mirror. I don't believe in that, just throwing it out there. But anyway, oh God, I hate that ad. Yeah, so when I got there, like, I'm like, okay, well, are we going to Ace? And she's like, well, I called you. Don't you even listen to me? And she did mention something about the guy cutting the glass being there, but I figured she still needed to go to Ace to get hardware. She didn't say, I don't need to, there's no reason for me to go to Ace anymore. Like, usually when I'm planning a trip to Ace, there's multiple reasons for me to go to Ace. So she didn't clarify that to me. At least I didn't feel she clarified that adequately. But yeah, I got there and it's like, well, is dinner ready? No. And I start kind of feeling up on her and she's like, oh, don't touch me. I'm like, well, you don't have dinner ready. You don't need me to carry a mirror to Ace, and you don't, I mean, this is what's going through my head. You don't have dinner ready. You don't have, you don't need me to help you carry this mirror to Ace, and you don't want to get busy. And your house is so cluttered that I can't even sit down comfortably anywhere in it. So why am I here? And that's, you know, and then after that we went to Costco, got some groceries, which I kind of explained kind of how how that went. I mean, it wasn't a complete loss, but it was a little bit annoying and disastrous, and took way more time than I would have liked a trip to Costco to take. I mentioned that. Yeah, I pretty much described that in the last video. But yeah, as I mentioned in my last video, I went, and I mean the last vlog, because before I post this, I'm probably going to post some of my karaoke performances from last night. But yeah, as I mentioned in my last vlog, we went to, I just went home. She's like, well, I don't, I don't want you touching on me. That's fine. I can not touch on you at home and be more productive and have a better time by myself at home, not touching on you. So, if it's a deal breaker for her that I want to have sex when I'm with her, then that's fine. That's fine. She no longer lives at my place. She has no reason to have to stay in contact with me. After I left my place, as you saw in the last video, I was kind of working on some different music-related projects on my computer. And after I left my place, I did come to the, I got, as I mentioned, I put some karaoke tracks on a flash drive and came down to Wander Inn and ran into Chris and his wife, whom I haven't seen in a while. It's nice to see them. And if you go back quite a ways in my vlog, Chris had invited me to a little pool party, house party at his boss's place. The guy's a multimillionaire, has a place like up in Peoria, just south of Lake Pleasant, off Lake Pleasant Parkway. And so we were talking about that and how, like, I had brought some microphones there for us to do some karaoke, and it just didn't work out. Like, he had this karaoke system was set up, and it just, yeah, he's got all the hardware, like, so far away from where they want to do the karaoke that, yeah, wireless microphones are line of sight, like, that's not going to work. And I didn't have enough cabling to put the receiver, have the receiver like a long distance away from where all the mixing and stuff was going down. I'm like, dude, if this guy wants karaoke, he's obviously in the budget to pay me to host a karaoke party. Why doesn't he do that? I'd love to do that. Anyway, so I told Chris, it's like, hey, let him know I had a good time, and if he'd like to have a full on karaoke party, and he's down to pay me to do that for a night, I would love to do it. But he did. Chris did say that that he got all the kinks worked out of his home karaoke system, and they've been there and done some karaoke. And I'm like, well, I'd love to go out with you guys again if he's down. If he doesn't mind me coming, if he'd like me to come again. I had a good time there. So, who knows? And part of that's on me. I haven't really kept in touch with Chris or his wife April. I have both their numbers, and I'm just the antisocial guy who doesn't call people or text people or whatever. But it was good to see them. Although what I thought was kind of shitty was that Priscilla ended up showing up like about 30-40 minutes after I was here. And I came here because I didn't want to be with her because there was just nothing good happening over at her place. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to come to your place to be sexually rejected. Like, I don't need that aggravation. I would rather go to the bar, sing some songs, drink some booze, and, and I'm not telling her this, but maybe hook up with somebody else who still has a working, functional libido. Just saying. But nah, she... April texted her and said, oh, Dan is here. And of course she came down here and just basically cock-blocked me the whole night. I would say there were at least 3 women that were here I could have potentially gone home with. Maybe not. It's hard to say. But, yeah. No, but Priscilla's here, and that's fine. I went home with her, and as I explained, I would say it was a complete waste of time, but I got to see that really awesome local Phoenix documentary on Phoenix in the 60s, narrated by Pat McMahon, which was awesome. And I'm sure I would have otherwise not seen that. But aside from that, generally a waste of my time. Anyway, I'm going inside. It's time to rock some karaoke and drink some cheap light beer because I drank way too many expensive shots last night.